We have to know our enemies are in panic, and they show it every day more and more intensively. They thought life was going to be bright for them for always. They have an alliance. They work in Brussels like a one-party system. They have been working like a one-party system since decades, since 50 years almost, and now suddenly it seems likely, every day more likely, that there will be an alternative to this one-party system, and that is, for them, it's dreadful, and that's why they are trying to do all kinds of campaigns of misinformation, and everything will be worse and everything will be more dangerous because, as I say, they are afraid they will make lists where we are all terrible Putin agents, or we are all kind of things that will come up in the next time till the 9th of June. You can be prepared for that. This gives us this touch, this clandestine touch of this meeting after twice having to change the location. Brings us closer to know what this kind of prosecution can be, what the repression can be that some of them are preparing, and which is very similar to other repressions we are seeing in other countries. I'm coming from a country, Spain, which is, as it was in the 30s, is sometimes showing the worst of the developments in Europe. And so it is in this moment where we have a government, a leftist government, with all the enemies of the nation inside the government who should protect the nation. And that is an unicum in Europe in this moment. Sanchez, the socialist, had lost the last elections to the EPP, to the People's Party, to the Popular Party, which make enormous mistakes and who concentrated itself in attacking Vox, which is my party. So we had no majority for Vox and PP, but Sanchez with the socialists had lost a lot. And so he went even further than in his former government, and they formed a government even with criminals, with convicted criminals, with fled criminals, who were protected by Brussels here in the European Parliament, which is also was one of the signs of this perversion of the European Union, what we are seeing in so many different spheres. But that this criminal who fled after coup d'etat, after declaring an independence, illegal independence and violent independence, in Catalonia, fled and took refuge in Brussels and got their accreditation as members of the European Parliament, says a lot about the protection of the national states and of the national sovereignty and of the respect to the Constitution and of the law of the different nations of the European Union. The same we can say about Poland. In any case, we have now in Spain an election before the European elections. We have two elections in two regions where you have a nationalist, separatist against the nation, against the Spanish nation, and whose main aim, whose raison d'etre is the destruction of the nation, of the Spanish nation, which is one of the oldest of Europe. I'm coming now from the Basque Country this weekend, where we had violence against us, against Vox, in every place where we appear. We had aggressions in different villages, we had aggressions in cities, and we are attacked by everybody, and nobody protects us. We normally condemn every aggression to other parties. The other parties, included, of course, the People's Party, never condemns now the aggressions against Vox. And that is because they all have now the fear and the conviction that we are the main enemy to defeat, because they are seeing that it was their secure space that they had in government is in danger. Is in danger. We have. They are seeing that even having had the monopoly of education, of information, of communication, having all the media with very scarce exceptions in their hands, people don't believe anymore in their message, and people are deserting from their message, are alienated from the process of the unification of Europe, and all the lies which are so compact and so awfully expensive lies that they produce continuously, parallel to this monstrous legislative work that the European Union is doing, which I hope you are aware, but many people still in our nations are not aware, are sleepwalking in this situation where every day they are closing the jail, they are closing the cage with directives, regulations, laws. Everything is coming in, cutting space of decision for the individuals, for the family, for the private economy, for the towns, for every kind of human cooperation is being affected by this tsunami of control and regulations that we are suffering here, and which is coming, as I say, in an agreement of this, in this Agenda 2030 program with our Green Pact, which goes into the existence of each and every European and every family and every enterprise and every human activity. We are, as I say, Europeans are waking up, and Europeans have to get from us the message, and it should be now every time easier for us to bring this message forward, because they are failing strepitously. They are really failing in trying to make the idea of progress where there is no progress. The impoverishment in Spain is absolutely scandalous. I mean, we are losing capacity, buying capacity every day. This country is poorer, the country is divided, and the country is more violent, and we have a criminality which is soaring because we have open borders where everybody's coming. Daily the boats are coming to the Canary Islands, and the government, the only thing they do is put them into planes, take them to the peninsula, and let them then free around. And so we are having the ghettos, these monstrous ghettos that we saw in other countries. We are seeing them in Spain as well. We have an Islamic problem. Spain is seen as Israel is seen by the Islamic radicalism as an own territorium. It's a lost territorium that they have to recover. It's for them a kind of it's one of these objectives of the caliphate, of the immediate objectives. They are militant in this, and even so, this government is bringing in and legalizing now. They have decided, all parties except Vox have decided to legalize 500,000 500,000 illegals which came in the last times. So we are coming, they are hoping that they are voters, of course. It's the same reason that you have in other countries. It's the same reason that Biden has for his awful border policy in the South. And so we are going into, as I say, we are in a process where our possibilities are enormous, but the dangers are increasing as well, because the enemy knows their time is running out. And so the action against the nation is in Spain now very acute. They have, as I said, we have elections. The separatists will win in both regions. The separatists will make an agreement with Sanchez, with the socialists, and they will have territory against giving them rights and sovereignty. They will give him the votes so that he can stay in power and that there is no alternative. That is the plan, and if you see, and will finish with that, if you see, this is exactly the same plan that you see in South America. In South America, and this is the clue why Spain is so important, because Spain is the bridgehead of the narco-socialism which has jumped over the Atlantic with Chavez, came to Spain, and since 2004, it is developing its power in Spain, and it is in Brussels, of course, as well. You only have to see the defense of Cuba, of a Cuba that we are financing from Europe, a dictatorship that has financing and subventions from the European Union. But you can see it also with this double play that Mr. Borrell has with Venezuela and with Iran, which are two brothers of the same alliance. Venezuela and Iran, the two governments, the two dictatorships that financed the party Podemos in Spain, which is the party who helped Sanchez to come to power. Nothing is by chance. There is really, we are speaking about alliances which make sense. In South America, we have the dictatorships like Maduro, and now Petro is doing the same, and Lula, which is so present by, so enthusiastically being treated by Macron and by other Europeans, who has come to power thanks also to the support of the Europeans. They are doing these agreements, territorial for criminals, and the criminals supporting the central government. In Colombia, it's very easy to see with the FARC, with the ELN, and with the cartels of El Golfo, La Oficina, the whole criminal cartels who rule Mexico now with AMLO are going to rule with Petro, are going to give continuity to Petro. They are going to give continuity to Morena in Mexico. They are giving total continuity to the dictatorship in Venezuela. On this same way of pacting with criminals is what Sanchez is doing now in Spain, to try to perpetuate him, because the perpetuation in power is the only grant for his impunity. They went so far that they have no real safe way of losing power or of retreating from power. So there is a real threat, immediate threat, of countries being totalitarian. And then there is the slow path, which we are seeing here in Brussels, from this People's Party, which incredibly, is going to present Ursula von der Leyen if she is not being now prosecuted directly by the General Attorney of the European Union because of this corruption affairs that we had, and where she seems to be supposedly very, very close. But the People's Party will bring her again. Poland had their government destroyed by the European Union, and we can't speak, even with all the mistakes of a Polish government, we can't speak of fair elections anymore if we have an European Union which interferes massively as they do and threaten massively as Ursula von der Leyen did to our colleague from Fratelli d'Italia in the elections with Giorgia Meloni. It didn't help very much to the contrary, but Meloni won. But we should remember that von der Leyen threatened directly Meloni 2 days before the elections. In this sense, let us be aware the nation, the family, borders, our values are our tools, are our weapon to defend us from enemies who thought that the future was theirs, who now know that they are increasingly threatened by their own nations, by their own people, who are seeing the perverse effects of their policies. And so they are prepared almost for anything. Thank you very much.